That's what they said, but it was interesting because we were playing earlier this morning, and Grim
Okay.
was like, "What the heck is this guy invisible?" And we're like, "Huh? Yeah, this guy's like all I see is like his gun model and his arms." And I said, "Hey, that's funny because they fixed that about an hour ago." It's what they said in the patch notes. They fixed that issue. And he's like, "No, the guy was invisible." Like, yeah, that sounds about right. So they've lied. Another patch and another lie once again. They continue to lie to us this year often. Every single bug fix update, every single time they lie to us.
So this is a confirmed lie, by the way. This is 100% confirmed because this patch went through. I can no longer use tracker. That is tied to these patch notes, but I still can't also see that skin. They said they fixed that in the very same patch notes. So this patch that they are definitely talking about, they said they fixed an invisible skin, but actually they didn't fix the invisible skin. They've lied once again, back to back. There does exist a QA department at all of these studios. They have a department called quality assurance. They have employees whose job title is something in the quality assurance department. That person works a salaried job about 40 hours a week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 probably. I really, and I'm not even trying to be funny, want to know, what does Joe from QA do for 40 hours a week? What does he drive to the office and spend 8 hours per weekday doing in the office? I don't understand how the game can do this regularly and there be a guy whose job it is for this to not happen who works 40 hours a week, let alone multiple of them. What do those people do when they clock in for work every day? Because it's obvious, I'm genuinely not trying to be funny. It's obviously not looking at the list of patch notes and assuring the quality of them to make sure they're actually in the game. Like, I'm not trying to be, it sounds funny because it's so absurd, but I'm actually not trying to be funny. I want to know, if not that, which obviously they're not doing, what are they doing for 40 hours a week? I've worked a full-time job before. I've worked 40 hours a week before. That's a long time. That's a lot of time you're in the office. And if that was my job to do something and I just didn't do it, even though I had 40 hours to, what else could I have been doing? I don't have any theories. I really don't. I don't know what else they do. Maybe it just takes an exorbitant amount of time to quality assure the store.
Game dev's hard, man. Developing video games is really hard.
It's never been this bad in terms of being lied to, like you pointed out. It's never been this bad. We've had, usually Infinity Ward, be really bad devs in the form of just not saying anything ever, or only patching the game every 6 weeks, like any patch at all, or lies of omission, or spinning the truth, contorting the truth, using tricky language to be duplicitous while not very technically lying. But never before have we just been just a barrage of lies, just a heavy artillery strike, an LDBR of fucking lies. Every single patch, there is something they will say that is just not true. Every single one, for it feels like the past month at least. That is insane. It is insane that people are not more upset about this, because you might be in the camp where you're like, okay, well, you know, the Weaver repairman skin is invisible, but that's actually not that big of a deal because tracker is in the game. And you know what? Honestly, I kind of agree with you. You could still see the weapon model, you still see the shoes. It'd be better if I could see the fucking character model also, but it's not the end of the world. But don't say you fucking fixed it when you didn't, right? Please, just don't lie to me, especially when I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out, man. You're not gonna get away with it. Like when they lied about skill-based matchmaking 5 years ago, at least there was some reasonable expectation that they would get away with it. Because it's very hard to test whether skill-based matchmaking is true. You have to do like statistical data models, and you have to look at some nerd who graduated from MIT that plays COD, break it down for you like a 4-year-old, and then you can maybe understand it. So there's like an expectation they're going to get away with this lie. So it's less offensive to insulting to me when they do that. But when they lie about things that I'm immediately going to understand that you lied about, why just not lie at all? What, wouldn't it be nicer if you just deleted that? Just delete it. Just don't type it, actually, better yet. Don't type you did something you didn't do. It pisses me off to no goddamn end. Here's another patch note, by the way. I think they tweeted this one and didn't write it in any official patch notes. Let's fucking stop doing that, by the way. Put every goddamn change in the same spot. I shouldn't have to go to Twitter to find some of the changes you said you did but didn't do, and then go to your blog post in the patch notes sections on your website to find another separate set of changes you said you did but didn't do. Put them in one spot. Or at least if you're going to tweet only some of them, that's fine. But all of those things should also be in the patch notes. Here was one of those things. If you guys were playing Nuketown Holiday or whatever, multiplayer, people would just be glowing fluorescent green a lot sometimes. And it was actually a big deal because it was very bright. You would be very easy to see if it was on you. And if it was on your teammate, you actually couldn't see past them if they were close to you because it was so bright and like big around them. And they tweeted, oh, by the way, there was an issue where people were glowing fluorescent green. We fixed it. No, they didn't. Spoiler alert. No, they didn't. Another fucking lie. Someone tweeted 10 minutes later, because of course, and they were like, oh, by the way, Treyarch just said they fixed this. Hey, hold this. Shows you a screenshot of some guy still glowing green after they said they fixed it.
I can't find where they said that. I was looking for that.
I swear to God they said it somewhere.
Because yeah, there's nothing on the Treyarch Twitter or COD update, so I wonder if they deleted it. So it was in some set of patch notes under Nuketown Holiday, addressing issues where players could have a green visual effects attached to them during the match. Oh, maybe
we just missed it. Okay, so let me...
Search LTM updates in the patch notes. It should come up in that.
This is for multiplayer, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they took... That explains it. They took it out of the patch notes.
Yeah, it's not there. I like how people screenshot
That's not
things
dishonest
so
at all, by the way.
Going crazy, yeah. To just delete it after you
just
put
delete
patch
it
notes
after the
live that
fact.
people read.
With nothing underneath that says, by the way, we removed this because it didn't actually get fixed. We're still investigating an issue. That would have been fine.
Do a strike through or something and say, we're investigating this.
They used to do that, by the way, once upon a time.
They've done that before, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's not dishonest at all. Just pretend you never said it. It's so frustrating. Because here's the thing, I've said this before, I think I said it on page and I'll say it again. When the game is working as intended, it's really fun right now. It's genuinely really, really fun. That's why it bothers me so much when it is this riddled with bugs. Because then it interrupts my very fun and enjoyable experience with shit that should not be happening at all. And I just wish they would get a goddamn grip one time.
Yeah.
But mostly don't lie to me. That's the most insane thing about it. If you defend the QA department, string you up also. I mean, these people shouldn't have jobs, obviously. Every single person who works in QA at a Call of Duty adjacent studio should lose their job. Primarily the heads of those departments. So the head of QA well, maybe not every department. It's hard to tell because it's a black box now. Who works on Warzone? I mean, Raven, sort of. Treyarch obviously has something to do with
Supposedly everybody.
Otherwise, the hit reg wouldn't be that bad. But the head of every single dev who works on the QA, or the head of every QA department of every studio that works on Warzone, none of these people should have jobs. I'm dead serious. I really want them to be fired. And whoever hired those heads of QA probably also be fired because you hired very incompetent people who hired terrible QA team members because they are the worst at their jobs. It's also embarrassing for you as a company for you to be reliably saying you fix things that aren't actually fixed. Can you think of another game where a set of patch notes come out and you just don't believe it? I genuinely can't, and I've played a lot of games in my time. I played some dog shit games too that are really bad and really bug filled. Like Star Wars The Old Republic, for example, some long dead MMO that's technically still operating. Terrible game, very buggy, a disaster, right? Super buggy. But when they put out patch notes, they checked the list twice. And they were not lies. They wouldn't lie to you in the patch notes. I would get mad at those patch notes because they didn't fix enough things. But they at least had a QA department and made sure they didn't say things that are not true or that they didn't actually fix. And where is that for one of the most successful video game franchise of all time, and one of the most resourceful, wealthy publishing companies and studios under it of all time? How is this happening? It's embarrassing, just as a business. I don't know. I can't say enough about it, but at the same time, I'm just working myself into a little tizzy. But it pisses me off a lot. And it should make all of you a lot more upset than it maybe does. I don't know. What I was originally going to say is, if you're having a lot of fun right now, I genuinely good for you. I'm happy that that's possible for you. I also have fun, which is why I'm playing, but boy, do I also tilt a lot. The relationship is very much like a battered wife. That's how I feel. So a lot of highs and a lot of lows and a lot of emotional manipulation. Because a battered wife, she's not just getting the shit beat out of her 24/7. Because then, yeah, anyone would leave. If you're just constantly just catching hands when you get home, or excuse me, when your husband gets home drunk, you would just leave. That's not how these abusive households happen. What happens is, at a time, your husband will come home and will start throwing hands for no reason. Well, Tanner did that.
I did it.
But then the next day, he'll bring you fucking roses and chocolates and say, oh, it'll never happen again, and whisper sweet nothings into your ear. And then for the next 2 days, it'll be fine. And then you'll think everything's Gucci. And then one day he'll come home, and then Bob from work made a snide remark at him, and you're fucking catching hands again. And it's a roller coaster. And that's how these women get trapped in these relationships. Because it's not always all bad. Otherwise, they just leave. That is me. I'm a battered wife. Give me a hotline to call to fucking fix it. Because the game will be really, really fun and perfect. It'll be the roses and the box of chocolates for 90 minutes. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, with no warning, at the drop of a hat, Bob comes out with his wife beater on and just fucking slams me in the face. And now I'm bleeding in the kitchen. I'm crying. I'm disoriented. I smell the liquor on his breath. I have no idea what happened or what's going on. And what did I do wrong? Nothing. I mean, nothing, actually. I appeared to have looked at my phone for a little too long 30 minutes ago, and now he's gaslighting himself into thinking I'm cheating on him or something. That's what happened. That was my error. I'm a battered wife. That's what's going on. That's why this shit pisses me off so much. Because if it was always just all bad, like Star Wars The Old Republic was, I'll just quit. I'm done. That's what I did. I just said, oh, this game's ass. It's not getting better. It's always ass. I'm always getting the shit beat out of me. I'm gone. See ya. Pack the car, Sally. We're getting out at the crack of dawn. Bob will be asleep. He's hungover. So, anyways, I don't know. It just makes me furious, though. And it's not going to get better. To be clear, it will not get better. So, have no faith.
Well, it will at some point, but then it'll get ruined again.